Live
from San Jose and Orange County. It's the Pixel Podcast.
Ricardo, are you in Orange County? You're technically in LA County, aren't you?
Huh? No, he's not. Chino Hills is in. That's Riverside, right? No, San Bernardino. San Bernardino.
Yeah.
All the counties.
Let's start. Hello and welcome to the Pixel Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ethan.
Hey.
And Ricardo.
What do?
Okay, let's just cut the chit chat this week, guys.
All right.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
None of them goof 'em ups, none of them opening bits where we talk about the weather or whatever we normally do.
The weather, it's raining.
Nothing.
Is it?
No.
Not what?
There's no time for that. We've got stuff to talk about. Games came out, a lot of them. Well, mainly just the one game, actually.
Yes.
It was the one game to rule them all.
The only game you will ever need ever again.
What game was it called, Ricardo?
Final Fantasy Dissidia.
Yeah, it came out. You bought it. How is it?
I did. It's sitting on my PS4 right now. The steelbook's really nice. It's like nice and sturdy. One might say as if made of steel.
Okay. Okay.
The artwork inside is pretty cool. There's some advertising for the mobile game Dissidia. Also some
an advertisement.
Yes, also some cup noodle advertisement as well.
Yes, I saw you went and you were sold with that cup noodle advertisement.
A lot.
Anyway,
yeah.
Is that why you went to that Noodle Fest? Is because it had this cup sponsored by Cup of Noodle?
Yes.
Okay, thought so.
Absolutely.
100%. I knew it.
I'm very, very susceptible to advertising.
That's demonstrated.
If anybody is out there wants to sell me something. It seems like somebody wants to sell me something.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed that game, and we can move on to probably time for the news. This is pretty quick this week. Not much to talk
A short
about.
one, so we can go back to playing so much Dissidia.
Yep, we've all been
Drinking our
playing
cup
it.
of noodles.
No, we've been playing Monster Hunter. That's the thing that we've been playing. That's the thing that we've all been playing. Monster Hunter World. And Ricardo's doing a dance right now for those listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Ricardo, I can't tell what your thoughts are. You're gonna have to be. It came out on Friday, and I'm pretty sure there's not gone a day where it hasn't been discussed in some format, either through our various chat clients that we use or in person playing the game.
Yes.
There has been some topic of conversation regarding Monster Hunter World.
Mm-hmm.
Ricardo, you're the Monster Hunter expert. You're the expert. Why don't you go ahead and start?
Monster Hunter World is like the most Monster Hunter game ever created.
What does that mean?
I don't even know if that's even.
It is exactly what it says it is. It is Monster Hunter
in a world
for the world, in a world where you could hunt.
Imagine a world.
Imagine you could marry that Rathalos
and make weird babies out of it. It'll look just like you mixed with a Rathalos.
And then carve up those babies and make cool loot.
We've gathered data from Ancestry.com to get you the perfect replication of you and a Rathalos child.
These Rathalos will grow in real time.
Guys, Monster Hunter World's real good.
Okay, cool. That's the review. And
so obviously this is I believe the 5th or 6th iteration of the Monster Hunter franchise that started on the PS2. I jumped on with 3 Ultimate on the 3DS. And I think when this is like the first real main console release since probably like Monster Hunter 2 or whatever.
Monster Hunter Tri on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Monster Hunter Tri
I actually had that game on Wii. I think I got like a copy of it, but then like didn't get into it.
Monster Hunter Tri, which is 3. It's 3.
It's Monster Hunter TRI, not Monster Hunter TRY.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Monster Hunter Tri.
Yeah, try it.
Try it. You won't get it.
That's what I've been saying, but then but nobody wanted to do it.
Monster Hunter Tri was also on Wii U. Weird.
Ethan played
it. That is really weird. I did notice that. I was like, that didn't come out. No, nothing came out.
So Ethan, you played Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate?
No, I played Generations.
Generations.
Monster Hunter Generations.
Yeah, and then there was
kind of the greatest hits of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and did the other one come out? Did another one come out?
No, Double Cross never came out.
Yeah, okay, so that was
in the US. Yes. Double Cross was the Switch one in Japan only.
Yes.
So this is kind of the first big like multi-console release for a Monster Hunter game ever, and I think that it was initially sold sort of as like a jumping on point, like this is the Monster Hunter that like everybody can get into sort of thing. And I think there was a lot of initial
I wonder how much of that is the actual marketing itself and how much of that is just Monster Hunter fans, because like I feel like I've heard that about the last like couple Monster Hunter games. Like this one's the one that's easier to get into than ever. Like
because they make little quality of life changes. So
yeah,
you know,
that was the thing, is that the perception with this one before it came out, just judging by the way the gameplay seemed to flow and some of the things that they were saying, like, oh, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Or, oh, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Was that they were dumbing it down significantly?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I remember hearing people worried it was like not going to be.
Yeah, one of my friends was like, "You don't want to play that game because it's like a dubbed down version for babies," and I'm like, "We don't know anything about that game yet, but like, it's definitely all Monster Hunter."
That's definitely the game I want to play. Is the dubbed down version for babies.
And now that the game is actually out in the wild, and
it's not that at all.
Not that at all.
It's definitely
a Monster Hunter experience.
Yes. With all the
warts and all. Despite
the foibles.
Some of them have been lasered off. So to speak.
I would say it's like they took this rough object and they like sanded it down. So now it's like a smooth object, but it's still not necessarily a It's still not necessarily like it's not sharp anymore, but it's not, neither is it like imperfect. Like they did not laser off the imperfections, just like smooth the rough edges, like to make them less painful.
And the thing is like, and that's kind of what I think we want to talk a little bit about on the podcast here, because as a veteran of the series, the small things that they did get rid of that were like, you know, some stuff that you had to worry about, a lot of that stuff that they got rid of or like made more manageable is fantastic. But then again, like I am not like, I'm so connected to the series that like I'm not seeing a lot of the other like possibly annoyances that new players are coming into and like seeing, like not liking so much. I will say that like I have been playing with a couple of groups of new players, obviously you and Ethan, Matt, and then
I know new player.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
we have all the levels of proficiency here. We have veteran Ricardo. We have off of his first year, he's no longer a rookie.
Yeah,
Ethan, and then complete newbie me. So we got like, I remember when we played the beta, and like I did a hunt with Ethan, and then like he was like showing me how to do stuff, and then we came in, and then Ricardo came in and was like, "What are you guys doing? You're doing everything wrong." Like,
yeah, I still forget to like eat and stuff like that sometimes, and it's like, oh. Oops.
You got to eat, man. Well, but that's the thing. That's one of the things that they make it easier than ever in this game. Like certain things, like in previous Monster Hunter games, the whole concept of the Monster Hunter games, if you're not initiated,
is go kill monsters to get loot, so you can kill more monsters, so you can get more loot.
Yeah, you're going out into the wild. You have a target. You're gonna kill that target or capture it, and then you're gonna get rewards from it. That's gonna help you craft gear to get stronger, because there's no actual real level progression in these games. It's always very centered around what your gear is and how you're using that gear. So like in old Monster Hunter games, like the canteen, basically before each hunt you want to eat so that you can get health bonuses, health bonuses, stamina bonuses, some stat bonuses, and then some possible like new abilities will trigger based on like dice rolls. And then you go out on the hunt. But if you forgot to do that, you were seriously kneecapping yourself. And
you have to, only way, quit the mission.
Yeah, the only way to go back and would be to quit the mission and go back. Now you can actually eat out on the mission. Now.
And you can change weapons out the mission. You can change
weapons. You can grab new items if you said like, oh, I wanted to capture this monster. I forgot to grab my traps. Let me go back to the tent and I can craft from the tent. I can do all this stuff. And so that is like a lot of quality of life stuff from that. Like it's not perfect in terms of like just continuing to roll mission after mission after mission, but like you don't have to go back to HQ. You can go back to camp and just roll another mission right after you finish that mission.
And that's the weird thing to me is like, at what point does the entire hub area become completely like pointless? It's not in this game. Like it's still necessary because you need to like build stuff, but it's like almost like they like almost got it but didn't quite. Of like, why have the hub? Why not have the camp be the hub? Or why not have like, if you want a cool looking hub, then that's cool, but like why not have me be able to do the things I could do at the hub at the camp sort of situation of like, they've already done a lot of that stuff. Why can't I accept missions from the camp? Why can't I like why not make it like a real open world? Basically, I
was gonna say you can accept missions from the camp, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Like,
yeah, no, I get it, but I think my viewpoint on that has always just been just like game rhythm. Like Matt, you were talking about it when we were playing. Is that like some of these hunts are grueling because these guys have a lot of HP, or like you go in with unoptimized gear, and it's a real struggle in a fight, and sometimes you just want a homestead to come back to and like say, let me go over here, let me see how much research I've done. Like,
yeah, and I wouldn't even say like remove the hub, just make it so that you can do a lot of the things that you can do in the hub without actually being there. Like especially accepting quests, I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Like if I do want to go right back out and do another quest, like loading all the way back to the hub, going to the quest board, accepting a quest, and then going all the way back. Because like a lot of times
you can do that though. You can just go back to camp and do that in this game.
No, where's the quest board in camp?
You just talk to your handler.
You talk to the handler.
Oh.
So that's
that's one of the things though that they failed to do in this game, that they failed to do throughout the entirety of its life, is that there's so many mechanics that are just completely unexplained.
I will say that the tutorial is significantly better than the last one. The first one was just literally, or not the first one, I'm just gonna say this is based off my experience in Generations.
The first one that you played.
The first one I played is it literally is just like, all right, are you ready to learn about Monster Hunter? Why don't you go through this literal list of tutorials? Like it didn't. Like at this game, it's like, okay, here's a little pop-up tutorial that you can read about. And sure, there's a lot of it very quickly and kind of lets you know what to do. This one,
tutorial tells you most of the stuff.
It gives you like, okay, we're gonna go hunt stuff now. Okay, we're gonna like not hunt stuff. We're gonna just like run away. Here's the hiding mechanic. Okay, here's how you get a job. Here's how you go do it. Here's what it's like on a hunt, and they like kind of lead it through you. While the Generations is literally like, hi, want to learn how monster hunt? Do this quest. It's collecting berries. All right, come back. Now we're going to talk about something else. And now we're going to read all this text.
We're not going to say how any things. And we're not going to tell you how any of these mechanics like tie into one another
or why they matter. It was very hard.
Go look at the wiki if you want that.
Yeah, the only reason I got into it is because Ricardo told me like how to play the game.
That's like half the reason why I'm still into it as it is right now.
Here's like a couple of like 20-minute vids by like reliable guys that'll tell you how to like do.
And you sent me some of those too, which because like I was using the insect glaive, and this game has I think actually pretty cool training area.
I've heard mixed things about it. I like it.
Yeah, it gives you like all the list of combos that you can do with that weapon. However, it doesn't tell you how the weapon works. It just says like one of the things it says is like R2 to mark Kinsect, and I'm like, okay, I know with the insect glaive I have this insect thing. Was that do when I mark it with the insect? Was that do? And it did not tell me the freaking most useful thing, which is that you have to hold like L2 and triangle, and then press triangle to shoot the insect out, and then press L2 and circle to pull it back into you to collect the stuff it got, which is like the whole point of that weapon, which is like to collect the different essences from the different parts of the monster, and then when you get all three, your guy like levels up and does a ton of damage.
And I was going to say,
know that key.
And I was going to say, and without that information, like that weapon that's supposed to be all about like maneuverability and you know, and these fast kind of acrobatic moves becomes very like slow as you're kind of like lining up shots to mark the target or whatever. But like this mechanic is literally like you have a rocket punch that is your bug, and then you're bringing it back, and then you're fucking doing your stuff. So yeah,
actually, from the videos that I watched, apparently the mark target ability is much more useful than it was in previous games, because you can do it
completely useless.
Well, you can do it mid combo now. So if you're already attacking him, the monster that is at a part of the body that you know you want to hit, then just do that in the middle of a combo.
And now you can actually aim things properly because you have another joysticks. You have another joystick.
Oh, we got a comment in the chat. It says way too much tiny text in the tutorial boxes. Have you guys noticed it's kind of hard to read?
I had to sit way close to my TV to actually like. That was so annoying.
There's also a bit of like contrast issue, I think, with some of the text where it's like it's small and it's like off in the corner and like isn't well highlighted, so it's like I can't really read this monster that I need to kill. Like, how many monsters are in here? Okay, like some of it's really hard to read, which is pretty annoying. I wish there was some way to like, bump up the scaling.
I find that issue more so too with like the map, like it's certain gathering missions and other stuff where you're trying to like read small features on the map. You can zoom in, but only so far.
Yeah,
the map kind of have to be like. You have to be like, oh, okay, I guess this is probably what I was looking for. Let me pin that.
Yeah, the thing, I think the thing for me, and I don't, it sounds like neither of you two, especially Ricardo, have this issue that like just playing the game by myself still isn't very fun. And that might have something to do with the weapon that I've chosen as in the Insectglaive, but I just I'm not one of those people who's satisfied with a loot grind. By itself. So like just going out and killing things to get more loot so I can kill better things so I can get more loot isn't super entertaining. The story's not really anything.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be. I wasn't like disappointed or anything like that. So like playing with you guys is a blast though. Like that's the thing that I genuinely enjoy. And like it's made me want to go back and play it by myself because I want to be able to like see certain monsters or level up my stuff so that way when we play together I can be better at the game. But I'm just like not really like especially when you have like no one to pull aggro other than maybe a Palico. Like
your Palico.
Like it like if I don't, since the Insectglaive does not have many defensive capabilities, it's not like the best weapon for that.
It becomes completely dodge. Like you have to rely completely on dodging.
Yeah, and it just takes so long to kill things. Like some things just last so long, and it gets like, and then it runs away, and it's like, oh, come back, just stop. I'm ready to like not be fighting this thing anymore. It's not even hard. In some cases, it's hard, but it's like it's just like it's not even a tough battle. I'm just like done with it being this long. But when we're playing together, that's not so boring. It's like all about like it's all about like the dumb stuff that happens during the fight.
And kind of the teamwork stuff. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I think it all kind of depends on also like how much you enjoy the kind of the combat in some ways, and like how the combat feels, because it's very heavy. You know, it's very deliberate.
I think the animations are amazing. And I think that the like different like maneuverability you can do with like the different weapons. Like I mean, like I said, the Kinta is great for acrobatics, just like running up and jumping on things. It's just like after I've been fighting this thing for like 7 minutes or 8 minutes or so, it's like where it gets like tiring.
Yeah, for me. I can definitely see that, and I feel like if you are jumping into a hunt. And I mean that's another thing, is that the games have never done a great job of explaining like what these tons of different items that you're getting and are able to craft, like which ones are useful in battle and in what situations. But like if you're going in and fighting like a monster, just you, your weapon, and the monster, it definitely can feel like that sometimes. But that's kind of like that's the weird thing, and that's where like you either get lost or you really latch on to Monster Hunter, is that the more you become familiar with a monster's tendencies and the way they fight and what they're weak to and what you can do in what situation, it becomes like, a really like entertaining thing of like how you can best fight this monster. So like for example, we first me and my other buddies, we first ran into a Rathian and decided to hunt it, and like it was a pretty long, grueling battle. Like we were dealing with the fact that it can poison you, the fact that it has fireballs, and like all this other, and it can fly away and all this other stuff. But then later it started to become obvious. It's like, okay, well, if we have our guys using blades, aim for the tail and take out the tail, that gets rid of the poisoning problem. Me and our other blunt weapon user will focus on the head to get stuns whenever we possibly can. And because it's a flying monster, if we pack flash pods, when it tries to fly, we can flash it out of the air and it gets dizzy and like blinded and you can't do all this stuff. And so it's kind of like learning what is good against what monster. And then it got to the point where we were basically bullying this thing every time we ran into it. And it became like, it just it feels really good to kind of like, and it's kind of like a weird thing with the themes of the game, honestly, but like to kind of like assert your dominance against these things assert your dominance against these like monsters that initially when you first run into them essentially just
it's true,
tear you to bits.
Well, I remember like, when what was it, the what was that little chicken guy, I can't remember his name.
The Kuliaku.
Yeah, when we first fought him, we're like, oh man, this guy's a pain in the butt, because we all fought him by ourselves. And then we all got in a game together and just wrecked his face, like just completely dominated that little bird guy. And like that, I don't know, it was really satisfying just having that that, like you said, that kind of control dominance over this, like, oh yeah, I know how to beat this guy, he's easy, I know all his little tricks. Sort of thing.
That guy is like, he's got a rock, and when he gets the rock, he's very hard to hit in front, but actually if you shoot him with like any kind of stone or scatter nut or anything in his face, he'll bobble the rock and could drop it. So like that gets rid of that problem really quickly and stuff like that. It's just kind of experimenting and figuring that stuff out is like part of the game. But I can also see where it's like, for example, I just fought Odagaru.
I didn't even like know that kind of stuff too. Of like that I can like shoot something to make him drop a thing. Like like that's like the sort of thing where it's like the game doesn't display that information.
But that's also kind of one of those things.
All the items I can use that are not like that are like non, like all the not all like the offensive
like traps and bombs.
Yeah, like I have no idea how to use any of that stuff, and like only vaguely know how to use it now that you guys have told me. And I only like have seen like the bombs and the traps. Those are the two. Yeah,
because it's like you're like something that I'm learning now that I actually hadn't done in previous Monster Hunters, but I feel like it's more important in this one is to pack nutrients for your hunts, because if you drink a nutrient at the beginning of a hunt, it extends your life bar. So
yes, I've crafted some of those. I just haven't. I felt like I don't want to use them.
Using nutrients and armor skin and demon drug and stuff like that is even more important now than ever. Which is like, again, not meat. All super expensive. Yeah, cooking meat has been very
almost useless.
It's diminished, but the importance of eating is still there. You gotta eat. You gotta make sure to eat your rations or a well done steak so you keep your stamina up on the hunt and stuff like that.
But back to what you're saying, Matt, about like how that doesn't surface that sort of stuff where you could shoot in the face. Like, to me, I find that really exciting when I find those little tidbits to be like, oh shoot, I didn't know I could do this, thing. Like, when I put.
Well, I didn't even like. I guess I mean like I didn't even know you could use like items. Like I didn't know what the items
that's
were.
Fair.
Like I mean that's what I mean.
That's
like,
a failure of the game.
They're in a big list. Totally. They're in the store and they're in the big crafting list. So technically, I could have gone and like browsed through every item and read the descriptions for every item.
But there's so many, and they all look like little like, and the little I don't know, something about the way they're displayed of just like these little icons. It's like, I don't know, this looks kind of almost spreadsheet.
Yeah, there's so many healing items. Like you're talking about the nutrients, right? Like I've crafted a bunch of those because I was like, oh, those sound good. I don't know when I need to use nutrients. Like every fight, I don't want to like waste them. Like that kind of thing. I don't know what is the time. What I don't know what monster I'm gonna fight if it's gonna be tough or not. Like totally. I've had things where it's like, oh, I killed that monster super fast. I guess
what a waste of nutrients.
Yeah, all the times I ate that stuff that's like not needed.
And then again, that kind of comes down to something that they've done a slightly better of, but you're still gonna need to contend with in this Monster Hunter is the fact that there is besides just a grind, there is an upkeep of your inventory. Like, you are going to run out of stuff that you need, and some of that is alleviated when you unlock stuff like the farm later on, where, like, say now, like earlier I was running through flash pods because I was using them on all the flying monsters like Legiana.
Do you throw the flash pod?
No,
you load it into your slinger and then you shoot it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, is that a lot of items that were previously just hit square and you throw them in previous Monster Hunter games, now a lot of them are tied to your slinger, which is a cool mechanic because it's like a free aiming shooting thing, but also some items aren't. So like tranks are still an item that you're throwing when you're using them, which is kind of weird.
But you throw it like directly at your feet too. Like the first time I used one, I thought I was gonna pull up an aiming reticle, and so I like was way back from the monster and just like threw it on the ground. And I'm like, that's weird.
It's also not how it used to be. Like it used to be able to chuck a trank directly in front of you, and then only if you were like standing still would you do the thing directly at your feet. So it kind of gave you two options. But now it's just straight up like, okay, to trank you just throw it at your feet. Yeah, I'd say the biggest failings of the game are probably, again, still not really doing a good job. I feel like this one's more learnable than past Monster Hunters just through playing it, but
you still need to either have a guide or have somebody tell you
some kind
like,
of
I didn't know
direction.
anything about these like hidden palicos you can find like around the
Oh,
map.
I found one of those. Yeah, I mean, so that's one of those ones that I just found randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked out. My palico was like, "Hey, this guy's a friend," and I was like, "Ah, cool."
Oh, but then they like give you like there's these ancient types of palicos that like give you all the new gadgets and stuff like that.
I
never found
about them, but I haven't found them.
Yeah,
yet.
And they give them like new gadgets and stuff like that to use.
Now palicos, they have another, like each palico has, it starts you off with the vigor spray, like gadget or whatever, but now you can find, these old palico like species in levels, like on expeditions, and they're called Grimalkins, I believe, and if you do like a little sub quest for them, they'll unlock another gadget for your palico,
and they can like help you tame like small animals that like
teach them how to ride like small animals in the level. And that's a cool like little sort of hidden feature, but also it's like I haven't really run into that organically yet, so it's not, I feel like it's maybe a little bit too obscure of a feature. Specifically because it's like, again, right now my palico's pretty much stuck using the Vigor Wasp, which is a good ability, because it's always good to have free heals come in when you need them, but yeah.
I have to mention too that like sometimes I feel bad for the monsters. Sometimes I feel bad for the monsters, man. They're just like like sometimes they're big assholes, but sometimes they're just like animals running around the forest, and you're just like, "What up? I'll murder you!" And then like,
hey man, that's the way it is, dude. You come into a new world, you just gotta kill it all. It's human nature.
It's like, man, if only they're like, they call it the new world and everything, and it's like, oh, this brings back weird like, connotations.
All right.
Mass slaughter of
just like life. The buffalo. There's plenty of them. We can kill as much as we want.
There's so many. How can we ever run out? I need a new coat. I don't feel as bad
about the big monsters, but I gotta admit there was a point where me and Ethan I never told Ethan this because I noticed it and I didn't want to say anything.
Oh.
But we were fighting the Paolumu, which is the big fluffy bat guy, and one of those pink like hummingbirds like swooped down in the middle of like our fight, and I was using the switch axe at the time, and I did the upward thrust with the switch axe and just fucking killed him immediately, knocked him out of the sky, and he was dead on the fighting ground. And I'm like, oh man, that is let's not talk about that.
That's a casualty, collateral damage, as they call it.
There's something about the way the monsters limp when they're weak that looks really sad.
And they make a little sad sound too. They go,
and they look real, and they like run away, and they're just like, just leave me alone. I just want to go. And like most of the monsters don't pull aggro when they see you. Like most of them are just like, whatever, I'm just walking around. Like you're just here. Like it's only when you like get in their territory or like start physically attacking them.
Yeah, that's like, definitely a weird feature of this one, because in the past it's like every monster that spotted you would like immediately be aggressive, and I guess because of the fact that it's in like the areas are more open now, and you're like running into other monsters that you don't want to run into like more often now.
Yeah,
it's like they have to kind of be like, okay, well this guy's not going to be relatively unaggressive unless you like hang around him too much or whatever. But yeah, it's funny because like
the limp reminds me like too much of real animals. Like I've just seen real animals.
They made it too real.
Like that, and
I think the thing is it's like it is like specifically it used to be.
It's because you're not killing them quickly.
Yeah, it is like a long drawn out like torture. You're like,
do you want to break this thing's tail off and smash its legs so it can't walk properly?
Yeah,
seriously. That's the thing, is like we're fucking
against like head things. Like
we're like fucking fighting this. We're fighting this Rathian, and like somebody mounts it and brings it down, and then me and Alex, my cousin, are just like beating it in the head with these blunt objects, and then it immediately goes from being knocked down to being knocked down again, because then we put it into a stun state, and it's just like, man, we're just like, this is not fair at this point.
Yeah.
It is weird though, because like in actual like hunting, you're supposed to like cause the least amount of pain to the animal. This is like
Ethan's been like actual real real
and you're supposed to like do it, you know, quickly, make sure the animal's in like the least amount of pain. Try to kill him instantly, and then it's just like, bah, like just murder forever. Watch their pieces fall off, like all their feathers.
I gotta get those drops. We gotta cut the tail.
It's so graphic.
It's like,
get that extra carve out the tail.
Get the extra carve.
Oh shit! What was I gonna say? Well, like the thing is like that used to be more of a gameplay indication, because there's no health bars on the monster or anything, so you had to like know if it was ready for capture. Because you could capture it if you wanted to. You could capture it,
and I'm sure
this game does a better job of past games of actually being like, oh, there's the monster that you captured.
Yeah, you didn't
He's
just
over there.
get,
He's
like
just
cut up. Like,
he's just sleeping. Yeah, like every time you capture it, it's just like he's just sleeping. He's just sleeping.
Well, no, but actually, if he brings it back to base and you can find him.
Yeah, and just sleeping. He's just sleeping over. Except for what happens when you capture a new monster and the old monster goes away.
He get put in storage.
Where did he go, sir?
He gets put in
There's
storage.
like a throwaway line of like the biologist being like, it'd be great if we had like a live one to study, and then we could just release it back into the wild after. But it's literally one line of dialogue.
Yeah, so they release them.
Totally miss.
Catch and release. You know, they're beat up, have their legs cut off.
Broke his ankles and tail, but then, like,
and then you release them back into the wild, and then the next time you go out and hunt, that's him. And you don't kill him this time.
Get him again.
Because you really need a new set of greaves for your
morning. We hunted a bunch of Rathians, but I never got my plate drop to make my new hunting horn. So I had to fucking hunt another Rathian this morning to get my plate drop. And I got that plate drop. So I don't feel bad at all. Now I got a sweet green horn. It looks like a recorder. It looks like a fucking recorder that you play in elementary school.
I like it.
Green horn.
It's got fire elements.
How can you feel bad when you get that great recorder?
We would be absolutely remiss not talk about how as fun as playing online is, how convoluted it is to play online with your friends. And
I think once you get the hang of it. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like fucking. I don't know why they would do it like this.
So
it
let's break it down.
Well, hold on.
Hold on.
We got to start earlier. Yeah. So
okay, what's up?
In Generations and any Monster Hunter before then, there was two separate paths. There was a single player, and then there was the multiplayer path.
Yes.
And this is the first game to combine the two. And so, of course, being Capcom, they screwed it up.
Yeah. I was gonna say like before it was straight up two separate paths with almost identical missions too. So like you would play all the missions in single player, and you'd be like, guess what? you gotta make all
Do
that
them all
same basically
again.
progress in multiplayer. It'll be slightly different, but it's basically the same. Now they're like, oh no, the two are combined. So like any kind of missions you do for each other all counts for everybody. Like there's no like whatever. Like key quests, if you, or I guess they're called assigned quests here. If you do them together, it's fine. They don't tell you, however, and this isn't explained at all.
Yeah, this took us so many tries to be like, at first, at the very beginning of the game, we were all like,
we're just like, I guess there's a point in which it opens up.
It must be it must be like a thing where we have to like get past a certain mission, and then they'll be like, all right, now you can go play the game.
Just do everything
now you can
together.
go play the game with friends. But we were like, oh, we got to hit a certain tutorial mission before it'll let us do things. No, the game will not let you play any story missions with anybody else if not everyone, including yourself, has seen the cutscene in the story mission, which is really dumb because the cutscenes are always like, "Here's the monster. All right, now fight it." Like they're never.
Yeah.
It's not like
I don't know if they're like
the cutscene is like.
I don't know if they're like, oh, it's an immersion thing. Like you're supposed to fight them alone, and then now you're gonna be able to have access to people helping you or whatever, which is dumb and bullshit. But the thing that makes it even worse is that it's like, say me and Ethan right now are further than you in the story, Matt. So we've seen all the cutscenes that you're gonna see.
So it's like, oh,
so
you should
think like I should be able to join on you.
Exactly,
and
right?
you should be able to.
I'll
just
invite you to my game.
But no, I have to wait until you see the cutscene by yourself, so then I can come join you to play.
Yeah, and then in that case, when that happens, that means I'm literally in the middle of the fight, and you start out back at the like you have to load.
Yeah, and then I have to be like, wait a minute, I gotta
start at the camp. And like,
wait, I gotta eat. Wait,
I
got the wrong horn.
Let me change this. And you gotta like run all the way to where I'm at, by which time I've died. This actually happened to us one of the first times we tried to do a story mission together.
Oh yeah.
I shot up a signal flare. You two both responded. Ethan loaded in faster for I can't remember what specific reason. I think Ricardo was doing the same. Ricardo was doing the same story mission. He had to like quit out of that story mission, and then load into mine. So Ethan jumped into my story mission. I died because I was by myself. Ethan ran up on the monster. He died because he was by himself. And so then Ricardo joined in, and me and Ricardo went in together, and we all got in there. But then because we'd already died twice out of the 3 allowed times we were allowed to die,
somebody else died a third time.
Somebody else died, and it ended the mission immediately. And then we'd all seen the cutscene at that point, so we were all just started together.
Yeah, and then guess what? The mission was very doable.
Yeah, so it's not even like the game is like, oh, we want you to play this by yourself the first time through, or something like that, because the game is clearly fine with you playing it in groups. If you've already seen the arbitrary cutscene,
it makes no sense. I really don't understand why they would do it like this, but
yeah, that's the way it is. For story missions, it's like that. For the other ones, anyone can jump on anything because there's no cutscenes, except for you can't go on expeditions together, except if you go and do an investigation together and then just choose to stay at camp, then you are by default in an expedition together at that point.
Yep.
Yes. It's so weird because it's weird because it's like I don't know if. Because so you can the max you can take on a hunt is 4. Like some hunts will have conditions where you're taking less, but basically your max is going to be 4 players. But if you're making a session, you can have up to 16 players within that session, and then you can all kind of go off and pair off and do your own sort of thing. So in that way, like it's kind of a cool multiplayer system. But then it's like there's so many weird arbitrary gateways, gates to go through that it's just like it feels like they fumbled a good opportunity, like because we're all experienced like video game people, and we know like
what you mean we're gamers?
Yes,
we're gamers.
Yes.
Gamers.
To like which avenues to go through to like find out like this game's being fucky. Is it only me? Like
yes.
But like say like somebody else is like, because I've had a lot of friends that aren't like super big in video games or whatever come to me for the first time ever and be like, that Monster Hunter game looks really cool, like I want to play it. And I'm like, yes, great. But also it's like, if that person gets into this thing and is like, I'm going to play with my brother, like multiplayer. Oh, wait, what's all this? I can't play it. Like, this game sucks. I'm going to like, the multiplayer doesn't work. I'm just going to stop playing it or whatever.
And the bummer is too that it doesn't properly explain any of this to you. It says cannot join game until all players have watched cutscene or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's only in the middle of you joining. It's not like there's no breakdown of like here's like the fact that it needs like a document to go like, okay, so if you have this thing then you can join, and if these players have seen the cutscene then you can join, and then if you're on an investigation then you can do like the fact that you need to explain that alone is bad. Like that's bad. Like that's bad design. Like it should be like you're in the lobby together, you go out together. Like that's how it works. That should just be how the option works. Yeah. Especially considering they have the whole like accept the quest, then post the quest, and it's like, well, if I have to go, then it's like if I have all these steps anyway, like what's it for? Like it's the investigations are kind of similar to a certain extent in that you get like dozens and dozens of them, and most of them are like the same thing, or like slightly varied of like hunt the great jagrax, hunt the great jagrax, hunt the great jagrax. I have like 10 missions to hunt the great jagrax. Some of them are hunt 2, some of them are hunt the great jagrax and something else, but like a lot of them are just like the same. And it's like, why do I need 20 versions of this? And then I have to like select the ones that I want, and then those ones actually show up on the job board, and I go over to the job board and choose one of those from there. And it's
the only reason I can see that is that because all those missions I guarantee will have very slight variations on them, and 2, because literally if they didn't have you have to register those bounties to have them show up on your, or excuse me, register those investigations to have them show up on your board, they would literally, it would be that list like in your choose a quest.
I do get it, but like at the time, I'm like, it's like what am I doing? Why am I? How do I know which ones to choose?
It's a weird game. Like this series and this game.
Hey man, there's a whole Easter egg where you can befriend the Poogie, and you can.
Yeah, I've been trying. He's still mad at me every time.
He's still mad at you. You gotta go up to him, befriend him. You change out his clothes.
Are you timing the petting correctly?
Oh, do you have to time it? I don't know. Yeah, time it.
Okay, so yeah, if you go down, okay, here we go.
See, like this is not explaining things in the game.
So you have your little pig friend Poogie walking around the hub world. If you go up to him, there's an option to pet him. And so basically, much like the cooking mini game, it'll play a little jingle, and then it'll have the exclamation point will show up over Poogie's head. As soon as that shows up, you have to hit B to cancel out of the pet, and he will love you. And you'll do that enough times, and he becomes your friend.
And you pick him up.
And you pick him up. You can change his clothes. You can name him. It's all good stuff.
His name's Poogie. He already has a name.
Well,
yeah, I'm just keeping his name as Poogie. I know Jorge named his Giggle Cream because he said that several times. He's like, "Oh, I named my Poogie Giggle Cream," and I'm like, "This is like the 5th time you've told us." Like,
Giggle Cream
is not getting any funnier.
That's definitely I don't
know how I feel about that, but all right.
But I love this game. I played almost 30 hours already of it.
Yeah, I got sick over
I'm not anywhere.
Sick over the week and just.
You got sick of it?
I got sick and just I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep playing this game.
He got sick. Yeah, it was, wow, what a surprise! It
was one of those times that's actually convenient to get sick, kind of. Like, there's no convenient time to get sick, but at least it's like, well, at least I have a cool game I can play while I'm like recovering. Like that's nice. So that was fun to catch up a lot and get real far in that game. It was fun. It's a fun game. I like it a lot.
I'm still in the very beginning.
I love it. I mean, I honestly haven't progressed as far in the story as I probably should have. Maybe not. Maybe I am. I don't know.
I'd be already.
I'm just doing. Well, it seems fun to me.
It's even more disconcerting though when I hear like a lot of people like in the games like Twitter like talking about how like, oh yeah, the real game doesn't really start until you get high level stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I'm not even
That's
like
literally like Monster Hunter.
I know, but I haven't even like gotten through the first like 4 missions.
I don't even think we've gotten that high level on like even the generations. Like we didn't.
No, the one I got the highest in was 4 Ultimate, the one I put the most time in to get like higher rank and G rank quests and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to play at least
I want to play more.
Let's play after the podcast.
We'll see. I have to edit this. I have to edit this podcast.
All right.
Also, I'm sure Amber will give her thoughts on Monster Hunter at some point in this podcast, and she's not a fan.
I can't wait. BRBs.
In the meantime, Ethan.
Oh yes.
You and I played a different game that was only available this weekend as well, which is Poor Timing. I want to note real quick in case people haven't. For people watching the stream, this is a special feature for people watching the stream. Due to Ethan's settings on his streaming, behind me, there are parts of this map.
Yes, I noticed that.
that have been. I've noticed it. I couldn't stop noticing it. That's why I had to.
I gotta remember how to take out. I think chroma key's on for some reason.
Yeah, chroma key is turned on. There's green parts of this map that are being erased.
Off.
For people listening to the podcast, for people listening to the podcast who are not watching it, I mean, there's a map of the world behind me, and there's some countries that are colored green, and they were gone, just gone. Mongolia was gone, and so was Iran, just erased from existence. Ethan, we played Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. Do they have Pirates of Mongolia?
I mean. I think they just called those Huns, I think, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
That was just like, or not Huns. The Genghis Khan. They were considered pirates by the Chinese.
That's
until
true.
They took over China, and then they were the emperors.
They're the captains now.
Yeah, look at them.
Look how far they've come. So Sea of Thieves is a very interesting game, especially coming from Monster Hunter.
Which is like systems and
menus and
tutorial boxes and
heavy stuff.
All these things are not going to explain to you.
Coming from that to going to
well, Sea of Thieves also does not explain.
It doesn't.
To you.
It explains nothing. But
we just started talking about Sea of Thieves.
But Sea of Thieves feels like a you know those like pretend like castles and stuff that are like really big. As a kid, you'd have, and they had like slides, they had like drawbridges and stuff like that. They're like the big plastic ones. I don't know if you've ever seen them like big play places. Like they weren't like massive, but it feels like not even just at McDonald's, but people had them in like their houses. Like richer kids had like those like cool castles or whatever.
I didn't have any rich friends, but apparently Ethan did.
I did. Anyway, but they had it feels like that where it's like everything is cartoony and it's like okay. We're gonna like play pretend now.
You want to play this version of the Pirates of the Caribbean?
You want to play like the pretend version? It's like super fun. Like, oh man, we got shot with cannonballs. Let's patch it up with these boards. Dink, dink, dink. All right, this board is done. All right,
now the boat is like spewing in water, and you're just like, I'll just put this board on it.
This board is good. All right, now let's empty out the water by grabbing this water and like. Dumping it out the side. It's just like okay.
What's the fastest way to get to this island? I'll load Ethan into this cannon and fire him out the cannon. That's how you get there.
So what's on this island? A bunch of spooky, scary skeletons.
Sounds like this is a hardcore simulator of.
This is what actual piracy was like.
But that's the weird thing about it is it feels like it definitely is a little more involved than other games because it has like the whole like you have to actually.
There's like no UI at all except for like a life meter.
Yeah, there's like a life meter and bullet meter.
And how many ammo you have.
But like to actually get sailing, you have to have one person like lower the sails.
You gotta raise the anchor first.
Raise the anchor. I'm sorry. You have to raise the anchor.
Lower the sails and then angle the sails so they're catching the wind properly.
And then you can finally drive.
Someone's got to steer, and then usually that person steering. Needs to like make sure that like they can't really see with a giant sail in their face. So then like someone has to be like telling them where to navigate to, and then that person can help them navigate like what's visually around them. But to know like where they need to go, they need to like look at a map, and that's below deck. So Ethan and I played on a two-person like boat, but you can play up to 4. You can even play solo if you want to. And each boat gets smaller so that it's easier.
There's a solo boat?
Yes, and here's the thing that I did not know. I don't know if Ethan knew this, but I did not know this. I thought those were like distinct modes of like, let's play solo mode, let's play 2-player mode, let's play 4-player mode.
Okay.
It's not. You're all dumped into the same world together. So the boats with 4 people on them are still hanging around the boats with 1 people. If you're just a solo pirate, you could totally get rolled up on by like a giant.
Oh yeah, I think I assumed
a giant
that,
galleon.
Yeah.
I did not know, did not think that would be the way it happened. Ethan and I are going on the ocean. We got some treasure chests. There's the treasure chests in this game are also pretty fun too. We got 2 treasure chests that where when you picked them up, it made you act like you were drunk. So the entire game went blurry, and as you tried to move, it played What Will They Do with the Drunken Sailor in the background as they tried to move.
And the drunken like animation, what do you call it? Like state of your character is very good. It's very good.
Well, it's very bad in terms of it's like and it's super accurate to like just like I'm gonna walk in a straight line right now. Here I go. And like, and then, like you look at Ethan and he's like going sideways like completely. And it's also speaking of songs, the instruments are great. The instruments are
so you can pull out an instrument at any time and it'll start playing like I think one of like 3 different shanties, and then like and then anyone nearby can join in with their different instrument and it'll like seamlessly mix.
Just add into the music.
It's silly and it sounds like that's kind of whatever, but like in the moment, like if you're sitting there,
really great, yeah.
And
also we also like when you have so you can only see what direction things are in when you have the compass up like physically in your hand. You can't see other players unless they're in visual line of sight of you. So there's like names about the players, but if they like go behind a tree or like underwater, then you won't be able to see them anymore. And so you have to like have them visually in sight. If you hold the compass up to your face and like move, you'll like take steps slowly. So like a lot of the treasure chests were like find the grave and then mark 10 paces west, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, and then you dig and you find a treasure chest. That was cool. Anyway, after we found the second treasure chest in this island that we were going to, we turn around like, let's go back to the boat. And then we turn around, there's a giant like 4-player ship just like rolling into the bay. And I'm like, oh, we're dead.
Oh, this is how we die.
We're so dead. And then
were you guys dead?
We got into our boat and they were like, hey, we're friendly. Come on. And they like jumped on our boat. And they're like, hey guys, how you doing? You want to chat? And we just like,
no.
And they're like, and then they were like, have you guys played this game before? What's going on? And we just sat there and like chatted with these dudes for like 10 minutes, something like that.
The thing is,
we formed a band circle, like we were all playing music together.
That was a nice moment. It was
a very one of those like seamless like moments that like can only happen in this kind of game where it just encourages open, just do whatever.
Yeah, I would say though, when they got down to like the bottom there into our hull and like checked out the chests and like grabbed them, and I was like, whoa, this chest is crazy. I'm like, these guys go steal our treasure.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna kill us.
I thought it's just like one of those things.
Greed.
And I'll be honest, I felt pretty scared during that time. Like
I felt like they did not ask for like permission. They just kind of boarded us. I felt very violated. They had all the power of the situation.
They did.
Yeah, we couldn't really deny them if they restored them.
Yeah.
Also, one of their players dropped out accidentally, and then like a random new person joined who just started immediately firing cannons into our ship.
It killed me, and I had to go to like Ghost Pirate Hell or whatever and come back.
And then like it was really funny because like the 3 dudes were like that were left were like, no, stop. We're like we've been talking for like 10 minutes. And they tried to get him to stop. It was pretty amusing, and then they helped us fix our own ship. And we're like, they were like, "Do you want to form a fleet and like go take out everybody?" And we're like, "We gotta go put these treasure chests away." They're like, "All right, see you later." And then we just like
then we drove away, and then like while we were driving away, Matt didn't see this, but I turned around for a second, and I see one of their guys in the water because I guess he didn't jump off our boat soon enough. He goes, "Oh wait, hold on," and we just left him. Left him in the water.
I didn't know that was happening.
I heard his voice chat, and I was like, it just slowly faded away as he drifted farther and farther. I think that's my favorite part about multiplayer games ever is the like proximity voice chat with the volume.
Yeah, proximity voice chat works pretty
so
well. It works pretty well in this game. So yeah, it was nice to not get like completely ganked.
That sounds cool. I feel like that will probably be the minority of interaction.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it felt like a cool thing that could only happen in this kind of game as well. Like you know what I mean? Like a lot of kind of games you can't even talk to people that aren't on your team, let alone you know what I mean? Let alone like have this sort of interaction. Even though like the intention of the game was for them to just steal our treasure, right? That's
like reminded me of like old Daisy kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's like, oh, you could totally just talk to people and like work together if you want to. I had thought too, Ethan. I didn't think about this at the time, or I did think of this all the time. I just didn't mention it out loud. Of like, what if we like abandoned our boat and just got on their boat, and then there was a 6-person boat. You know what I mean? Like
we could have just done that, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. You have way more people on cannons.
I mean, I was gonna say, what's keeping us? I was gonna say, what's keeping us from actually like joining that boat?
Well, if we die, we respawn back at our boat. I know that much. So like, we wouldn't be permanent members of that crew, so to speak. But like,
that's still
you
kind
can still just like jump on their boat and sail away with them. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting, yeah.
Come sail away, come sail away.
But yeah, that game is really cool. I think it'd be really fun with more people.
Also wouldn't share any of the plunder if like they cash in a chest or we cash in a chest. It wouldn't like. No, it wouldn't share with our team, but still, there's some cool ideas there. Apparently, the full game is going to have 99 players in a server, which is a pretty big ocean. So it's not like you're going to run into every person. But it's not like it wasn't like a huge giant like overworld. We were navigating through it pretty quick. So I'm interested to see like how they how frequent those events are and such. One thing I've heard from kind of just like over the internet kind of thing is that like griefing might be a problem that they might. Like, I don't know if they'll address that. I mean,
hopefully they address that in the final.
It's like, so here's the thing: if you sink somebody's boat and then or kill them, they'll respawn at some random island and then like have the chance to respawn their boat. But if you board their boat and don't kill them, then they'll respawn at their boat.
At the boat.
Which means that you're on the boat, and then you can kill them again, and then they'll die, and they'll respawn at the boat, and you kill them again. Like
that sounds terrible.
The game intends for you to like steal their treasure and sink their boat and then run away. But like if you just don't do that, then you could be an asshole very easily. It seems like. But I don't know. I loved what I played in the beta. Like it was very short. We played for like 2 hours, if that. But I liked it.
Do you think that in a full release, this will have, like, legs, or I guess it would be sea legs.
Sea legs.
to, like, continually come back to? Like, what do you think the overarching, like, goals of the game are going to be?
So this game is getting a very... there's no way to say this. This is going to sound really bad when I do say it. This game is giving me some No Man's Sky vibes.
Oh, dear.
Not as bad as No Man's Sky, and not as grand in its promises as No Man's Sky, but definitely a lot of discourse around the game has been, what do you do in this? Like, what do you even do in this game? Like, what's the progression? And I'm not sure the beta has been clear about like what the progression is. I know there are 3 different like factions that you get missions from, and then when you return and complete the missions, you get like you level up with that faction, and you get more missions available to them. And I know the 3 factions are different. So the only faction they had available in the beta was like the Gold Diggers faction, and that is basically just go find these treasure chests and bring them back. But I think the other 2 are slightly different. I think they have different missions associated with them. However, every single mission in the beta was go find a treasure chest and bring it back.
Yeah.
And your character doesn't level up. And I don't think while you can get new guns and stuff like that, there aren't like upgrades to the existing guns. So you won't get like a better sword or like a better
I remember seeing a few like people dig through some of the files in the beta and seeing like there's a lot more customization, like ships and things like that.
Yes,
you'll be doing later on.
You can upgrade your ship.
There's lots of things that they haven't like released yet, but that are not in the beta.
Yeah. So it sounds like and they've said like there will be stuff to do, there will be goals to achieve, but it hasn't been. They haven't like been clear at like addressing what that is. The thing for me personally is like I was okay with the pitch on No Man's Sky of being like just explore the galaxy kind of thing. Like I think not everybody wanted that, but some people wanted more. And I'm kind of okay with it being this dumb sandbox like pirate game. Like just me and Ethan dicking around on the boat was pretty hilarious.
I think that's another thing that this has over.
Like that kind of thing. Just like that.
There's one thing that this has over it is it's like this or No Man's Sky is like actually is a multiplayer game.
And then there is progression. Like to say that it's a 1-to-1 is doing this game a disservice, because like there is like you trick the gold into the guy and it like a meter like fills up and goes like your reputation with this group is like leveled up, like, and then like that, you know, so there is going to be stuff. I'm not sure how deep it will be is the thing, but I think that like if we can get a crew of 4 together, that is going to be fun. Amber has expressed interest in playing this game, so I might try and get her set up with that. So if we can have that, then that's 3. Only Ricardo would join us. We have our full Pixel Legends.
What about Brandon?
Pixel Legends crew.
What about Brandon?
Brandon has to sell his computer.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he actually is doing that or not.
No, he said he wasn't going. Last I heard, he said he wasn't selling his computer.
We'll talk about this.
You can buy his computer.
What about your brother?
He might play. I don't know. He's married now. He has things to do.
Married.
Everybody's married.
Everybody, every single person.
You two aren't married.
Nope.
To each other.
Yeah. Walked right into that one.
Anybody play anything else?
That's
about it. That's about it.
Ethan, what are your thoughts on? What are your just final thoughts on?
No Man's
Sea of
Skies. I think I really like it. Again, I think it comes down to if other people I know will play it at the same time. Because like, if it's just me, I don't think I'll have much fun in that game. But with a bunch of other people in a sandbox, it could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of dumb fun, dumb shenanigans that can happen there.
Same.
All
right, well, if that's all the games, it's time for the news.
Woo!
Let's see. I read the news stories, and now I forgot all the news stories.
Starting with a
lot of shutdowns.
Newses. So actually, we'll go.
Government shutdown. Oh wait, what? No.
That's not timely anymore.
We'll go with the second one first because I think we talked about it to a certain degree, like assuming
like it was gonna happen. We kind of like mentioned that maybe it would happen. Like I think I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen.
And then it totally did. So Epic was like, because I think Epic straight up when they mentioned a couple weeks ago that they were moving people off the Paragon team to work on Fortnite because Fortnite's the big moneymaker for them right now. They were like, we are taking like suggestions
about what to do about Paragon.
What people want to see with Paragon, and like what direction should we take it? And either
turns out that direction is
I was gonna say either nobody said anything or literally they were a bunch of shitty suggestions because they were like, all right, we're done with this game. So Paragon is shutting down.
Shame.
Epic's third-person action MOBA.
Hardcore one too.
Didn't really ever kind of get its audience. Couldn't really stand out.
I think it had an audience. It just was not growing or big enough.
Yeah,
is the thing that it had a problem with.
Good point. Which the funny thing too is that it's like it. I remember because when I was getting back in, like I was trying to find a lot of like free to play and like multiplayer online games, like trying to get that MOBA fix. I ran into Smite and then I ran into this game right as it was going through like a major overhaul. They changed like everything about the game apparently to make it like play faster, to make it like more friendly, to make it feel more actiony, give better like feedback to people who are actually just playing the game. Because again, as it stands in the beginning, it was very much a MOBA. So a lot of times it didn't feel like a one-to-one, like I'm shooting this guy and I'm shooting him in the head, but it's not really doing the kind of damage that it feels like it should be doing or whatever. I think they changed a lot of that. And probably made the people that they still had angry and didn't really do much to attract new people to it. So
now, aren't they like giving people like refunds this game though?
Yeah, they're straight up giving people refunds for the game, which is
like the best way I guess you could do it if you're gonna shut this thing down.
Yeah,
especially since it's again there seems to have been a smaller contingent of people that played the game and supported it for the long period of which it was in early access and just never came out. So that's kind of sad, but I think what's even actually more sad is that this one too wasn't actually too surprising, but
yeah, because we forgot about this story when we mentioned it. We reported a while ago that the team behind Gigantic was being reduced to like just enough to keep it running. Basically, it was not enough to like work on it anymore. And now it is being shut down completely.
Being shut down. So yes. Gigantic, which I believe was on PC and Xbox One.
I think it was on Xbox One. I don't
remember. I think that sounds right.
While the Windows, it says right here, while the Windows, PC, and Xbox One game received mostly positive reviews, Gigantic apparently couldn't find a wide enough audience to sustain itself. This is Paragon reporting. Okay, so Motiga, the studio behind it, had this to say: discontinuing Gigantic was not an easy decision. The game is a unique and exciting experience that captured many hearts and minds. Unfortunately, it did not resonate with as many players as we'd hoped. Over the last several months, the teams at Motiga and Perfect World looked into viable options to sustain Gigantic. However, the current state of the game has restricted options for further progress and relevant content updates, and delivering basic features while also fixing long-standing issues was more complicated than expected. Despite our best efforts, we were unable to find an impactful solution that would help Gigantic break through in a crowded market. And this is sad too.
The crowded market is the key thing. Same with Paragon as well.
Definitely. And I think the saddest thing here too is that it's like, whereas Paragon had a long run up to now finally being taken off, Gigantic kind of just it seemed like it flamed out very quickly. Like it was.
We played that game and kind of
for a hot second.
Yeah, we're really into it. I was thinking about putting money into it and everything.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it brought us right up to that line very quickly of like, wow, this game is fun. I'm ready to dive. But it did not cross us that line. Like, and it was like a very hot second of like, this game's pretty dang good for what it is. But then it was like, after pulling back to think about it, you're like, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it didn't ever get like further than that.
Yeah, like I never want to go back and be like, oh man, I just can't wait to play it. Not like Monster Hunter right now. It's not like one of those things where it's like, I can't wait to play my next Gigantic game. It was like, oh, that was a fun thing to do with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll move on and do something else now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sad because, and I don't think this had anything to do with it, but like I was like, man, I really wish that was like multi-platform because I totally would have played it if it was on PS4 because it looks really cool. But it seemed like it was a stringently Windows deal, and it did not necessarily.
If only you had a computer.
Work out.
Yeah, you could have saved it yourself.
Yeah, you could have hacked into the mainframe and saved if you had a computer. I'm not Baron, another member of the MOBA family.
So 2 bits of sad news, and then something that some people are sad about.
Ricardo, that you're gonna go to that cafe and you'll see Gigantic, and Gigantic will see you, and I won't say
anything to him. Know him to me. So this is sad to some people. I personally am not bothered by this at all. Red Dead Redemption 2, long-awaited sequel to
Red Dead Redemption 1.
Pretty good game, Red Dead Redemption 1.
It was alright.
Has been pushed back.
What a surprise.
Initially, it was said to be releasing in spring of this year, Now it is being released on the exact date of October 26th of 2018. Rockstar is apologizing for the pushback and the delay.
Sorry.
But personally, I feel like it was probably just the lack of I just didn't get a very good like feel for the game over the first trailer that it get the first trailer kind of failed to excite me.
Well, that very first teaser, which was like here's some horse balls and here's
some beautiful environments.
And the first trailer that actually showed off was like, oh, all these characters seem like assholes.
Yeah.
My impression was just like, oh, all these characters seem like terrible people that I don't want to play as or talk to.
The thing is
it's
like
a Rockstar game, I guess.
The thing too is that to a certain degree, at this point, like they don't really even need to market this game.
No,
because
not at all.
It's Red Dead 2.
Yeah,
people have been wanting that for so long that like it'll sell what it sells. Regardless.
Also, I'm surprised it's delayed to a time that is in
this year. Yeah,
I would not be surprised if it gets pushed to 2019.
I would have been surprised.
I guess. I never thought it was going to make this year to begin with. So to hear it's like delayed, but still in this year is actually very interesting to me. I'm curious to see if they'll make that date or not.
Yeah. You guys both looking forward to that game?
I am, but I'm not like chomping at the bit for it.
So, yeah, because I did really like the first one, but
it's like one of the only Rockstar games I beat.
But with the trailer, like you said, Ricardo, not kind of really drawing you in the way that I hoped it would draw me in. I'm like not like 100% sure. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
Yeah. This next bit of news actually is kind of interesting because I feel like this isn't like news, but in terms of like, okay, so basically the GDC, we're going to give a achievement award to Atari founder Nolan Bushnell. Basically,
and as well as a couple other people. I think Tim Schafer and Rami. I'm gonna butcher his last name. Rami Ishmael.
Ishmael, yeah. But I think this specific award was to the Pioneer Award.
Yes,
to go
but they announced like all three at the same time. Is what I mean. Yeah.
Yes. But if you actually have read up any about Nolan Bushnell and
founder of
actually
Atari,
done a little bit of research, he's not known as specifically in those days on those high heydays of Atari as being the best dude to work for and under.
Yes, I'll be honest. Like, and this is, I will take blame and for being ignorant on this thing that I should have known about, but I did not know any of this when this got announced.
Well, that's the thing is,
and so like, and then everyone was acting like it was a very like well-known thing, and I was like, oh, I'm a bad person.
I guess someone in GDC didn't know the same thing either. So
I guess, but multiple people have to approve that award, right? It's not just like one person being like,
no, me,
it's me.
I'm the award.
They called me up and they're like, Matt, should we give an award to Nolan Bushnell? And I was like, sure, yeah, he seems fine.
You create Atari? Wow, that's pretty influential. All right,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, give him an award.
All right.
I think actually
afterwards,
the way I found out essentially was, I think this was years and years ago. They had announced that somebody was making a movie about Nolan Bushnell's life, and I think they had initially cast Leonardo DiCaprio as Nolan Bushnell. And then I think this was on the Giant Bombcast they were talking about, and then like Jeff Gersman made some like comments about like some possible shadiness with Nolan Bushnell.
Oh,
and
man.
I was like, let me actually read up on this guy, and it's like, oh wait, maybe not.
That's not in so many words.
He made Chuck E. Cheese's, guys.
Yeah, yeah. Who? Someone who made Chuck E. Cheese couldn't be bad. So essentially. this led to a lot of public outcry on Twitter.
And I think in relation to like the Me Too movement and
yes, exactly,
women's rights movements, like so we should be clear about like what specifically like people were not specifically, but like it wasn't just like, oh, he was a sucky boss. It was like a little bit more than just being like,
yes,
like a sucky boss.
Accusations of sexual harassment and the like. And yeah, so it's particularly tone deaf by the GDC not to do their homework in this current climate.
Yeah, the GDC should know better than me, the white guy who doesn't do research on things that don't affect him.
So after that outcry, they straight up canceled. Like, they didn't only rescind that award from Bushnell, but they're straight up not giving that award anymore. Like, it's not like they're taking away from him and giving it to somebody else. They're just straight up not doing it anymore. Nolan Bushnell actually had a statement about this, and it's actually not a terrible statement.
Like, as it still contains a bit of a like, if I did something wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah, totally. But okay, so he says in this statement he released on Twitter, I applaud the GDC for ensuring that their institution reflects what is right, specifically with regards to how people should be treated in the workplace. And if that means an award is the price I have to pay personally, so the whole industry may be more aware and sensitive to these issues, I applaud that too. If my personal actions or the actions of anyone who ever worked with me offended or caused pain to anyone at our companies, then I apologize without reservation. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a distance thing and a degree of martyrdom to a certain degree, but also it's like he's straight up being like, hey, fucking some shitty stuff probably happened.
I mean, yeah, it's like, if things did go bad, they should.
If I said a quote such as "Some ladies feel comfortable around me and some don't," I find the aura of power and money very intimidating to an awful number of girls. If you say something like that,
that was in a 2015 article in the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, that was a quote.
A lot of people were like pulling that up as like an example of him being skeezy.
Yeah.
I mean,
also that a game for women is just chat rooms, you know, because women like chatting. So there you go.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like if you're someone like me, like maybe it's understandable that you've never heard, considering he's not exactly active in video games.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
No, totally.
Maybe a little bit more. Like I'm not trying to excuse myself either, but like what I mean is like if you listening to this have just been like, oh, I didn't know any of this stuff, like that's not too bad. But for freaking GDC handing out an award of a lifetime achievement for somebody, yes, you should know already.
And if you're asking, if you're listening to the show and you're asking, what is Atari? Just search speaker hat.
Yeah.
On Google, and you'll find it right away.
Other thing, no, I don't want to go through all other stuff he did.
We don't need to. We don't need to.
He's just gonna read the whole rant.
I want to see the bad stuff. No, I don't.
Look at this guy.
This next story.
One last thing I'll say just about that apology is that it's not for any of us to say whether or not that is a
good apology.
Or whether enough like we forgive him or anything like that. Like none of us are that. I mean, like nothing. Yeah, I wouldn't say that you guys were saying that, but sort of like make that absolutely clear. Like that apology sounds better than a lot of other people's, and it's cool that he's not making a big stink about it. But other than that, that doesn't necessarily excuse anything that has happened in the past or people that were affected. Moving on.
So this next story isn't necessarily bad, but it is kind of
it's a sign of the times.
It is a sign of the times, and kind of like you don't really know, like you think you want something, but you don't really want it. So basically, Teddy Diefenbach, I'm probably not pronouncing that name correct, who worked
household name.
Who worked on Hyperlight Drifter. He joined Square Enix Montreal 2 years ago, apparently. He is leaving the studio basically because they're not letting him work on the games he wants to work on.
It's funny. It's like, why hire the guy who made the Hyperlight Drifter? I'm not gonna let him make like a creative like video game. Like That game's got some.
So to summarize the story,
I saw that guy indicated.
After he joined Square Enix Montreal, and his idea is he was joining Square Enix because to him Square Enix means, here he says Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, games like that. But instead, the Square Enix Montreal team ended up working on primarily mobile games.
Oh.
And a title in which Diefenbach and his team were working on was straight up canceled, as the studio was pretty much putting all effort into the mobile division, so to speak.
I have breaking news. Sorry to interrupt this story, but this is only from one Twitter post right now, so I have not received official confirmation.
What is this?
But Sony CEO Kaz Hirai is stepping down effective April 1st.
Wow.
Oh, Ridge Racer!
That is the only news story I have. This is from 40 seconds ago.
Who's taking his place? Shohei?
I don't know. This is from a GameSpot Australia person, so they should probably know their sources are correct.
Shohei Yoshida? Is he gonna take the spot?
His Twitter profile is way too unprofessional for that.
No, he better. That's what I want.
But Kaz was the CEO of all of Sony, not just PlayStation stuff.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he used to lead the.
He was PlayStation, and then when the CEO left, he got made the top spot.
Wonder if he's retiring.
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if he's retiring or something. The business not been doing that great. I don't actually know how it works.
He's going to join a Sony studio so he can work on the next Ridge Race.
I'm quitting to follow my dream as a janitor in a game studio.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. That's all I know about Kaz.
Is the Ridge Racer thing?
It's Ridge Racer.
That's about all I know too. I'll be honest.
Man, that's pretty crazy. Now, what is that fake Sony account, that fake Kaz Hirai account gonna start tweeting about?
Which is that guy already, like, the guy who ran that account already said he was quitting this year.
Oh my god, what?
He knew. Collusion!
In a serious post, it was like, listen, I've been doing this account for a long time, and it was fun at first, but I don't really follow gaming news as much anymore because, like, I've got, like, adult things to do. So this will probably be the last year that I post stuff, and then I'll probably stop. That's what he said.
That is actually Kaz Hirai.
It's actually Kaz Hirai.
Actually him.
I've been following game news, so I'm gonna stop all of Sony production, whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Like, he's been like a staple of the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
That is really crazy.
Yeah, so that's the other story. That was basically the whole thing. But speaking of mobile games, guys, you know who's been killing the game in the mobile market?
Nintendo. Oh yeah, all their mobile games are great.
Mobile games are great.
They're so good.
Totally don't have one that's shutting down here this year.
Yep.
Nope.
R.I.P. Mitomo. R.I.P.
Yeah, we talked about that when that was announced. But guys, Mario Kart Tour is the next Nintendo mobile game heading to smartphones.
Whoa! What is it? How do you play a Mario Kart game?
They didn't say. They just announced
there's
it on
been a few
Twitter,
racing games on phones. They've been all right. But, like, I don't know. I don't want to play this. I want to play the Switch one's fine.
Yes, but
Switch one is great. Switch one is great.
Switch one cannot fit in phone.
It's true. It's slightly bigger than phone.
Can I put inside phone?
In phone.
I'm interested to see it, but
they haven't shown anything of the game itself.
They haven't shown anything. They've shown a logo, and they said that it would be out. They said it would be out in the fiscal year ending in March 2019. So that's still some ways away. But as a bonus, they also announced more details on the Nintendo Switch Online service.
Okay.
Going on. So basically, it's gonna be either $3.90. Wait, let's see.
Yeah, $3.99 a month.
$3.99 a month, or $7.99 for 3 months, or $19.99 per year, which is not that bad at all.
Okay.
$14.99 is really cheap. $3.99 a month, you'll pay like $48 a year.
According to Paragon, the service will give Switch owners the ability to play online. The service says has been free up until now, but is expected to change once Nintendo Switch Online launches. Switch players will also gain access to compilations of some of Nintendo's most classic games, including Super Mario Bros. 3, Balloon Fight, and Dr. Mario. Nintendo is calling these compilations of games from the archive Classic Game Selection, but that is subject to change. Nintendo will incorporate leaderboards and multiplayer with Nintendo Switch Online when it rolls out. So
I don't want to pay for a Nintendo Online service.
But it's $20. All you have to do is not go to that one dinner that one time, or you just don't eat at that one dinner that one time. And you can afford an entire year of Nintendo's online service.
I mean, it is a lot cheaper. That's
for as much as a cup of coffee.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd pay for this
because service for an entire month.
Unless I get back in ARMS.
That just reminds me. That just reminds me of that. All that reminds me of is that the dang it, I forgot the. Never mind.
Yes.
F it. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
He had a good point, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
The other news that's not on this article for some unknown reasons that Nintendo reiterated that they are definitely coming out with the Mario movie, and with
made by the
Illumination.
Made by the Minions people.
Oh yes.
And
other things too, but
wait, they made what? What movies that they made?
Minions.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Despicable Me.
And other things.
A couple other things. I mean, the other thing that's kind of interesting is Shigeru Miyamoto is actually going to be
producing it.
He's producing it. So.
I don't know how much. I don't know what that actually means.
I don't know what that means, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
It means he's gonna show up on set with a Pikmin sometimes.
and we probably won't get Dennis Hopper as Bowser.
Well, I mean, he's dead, but
Koopa. I'm sorry.
They're
gonna. I forgot he's dead. My bad.
Wow.
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 Well, then we're definitely not getting him. So well,
he ain't gonna be a Rush Hour 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder.
Segue from the death. Segue away from the death.
I wonder if Nintendo will hold more creative control over this one than previous.
What are you talking about?
Involved in.
The original Super Mario Brothers movie. Okay, all the stuff that happened in that movie was accurate, and then they gave the Lemmy and I forget the other one, Iggy and Lemmy. They fucking took all that they experienced and saw to Japan, and they were like, "Here's a great idea for a game," and then they were like, "Oh yes." And then that's how Super Mario Brothers happened. So really, there's already been a very accurate telling of Mario Brothers. And it was the original one with Bob Hoskins.
All right, you're right.
You saw that ending, right?
That's the Mushroom Kingdom.
Have you seen like the post-credit scene where it's
man, I shut that thing off as soon as the movie was done.
Where it's like, we have this crazy idea, and then there's like Japanese businessmen, and none of them are Shigeru Miyamoto, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, it's like a very racist '90s, a Japanese businessman, huh?
Oh, forgiveness, please.
I just listened to the episode of The Pest from the other half.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
I haven't listened to that one though. I should. I actually did watch like the beginning of The Pest the other day.
Yeah, that YouTube clip's been going around for a couple months now. Since
the thing is I was like, man, I remember seeing that movie when I was young, and yeah, it's stupid, but like, what are they talking about? And then I started watching the beginning, and I was like, what is this isn't even a movie. Like,
no,
this has
it's
to
not.
Be a joke.
It's
this is like an SNL
events.
skit or something.
It's bad. It's bad. But you know what's not bad?
What?
Trailer trash.
Trailer that thing on my waifu in there. Get it up.
Oh, there's waifus.
Oh yeah, straight away.
I actually
straight away.
It's not SNK Heroines Tag Team Battle. It's SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. So I mislabeled.
I will relabel it to the correct format. In the meantime, that was the Tag Team Frenzy.
Yes. So imagine a world
where all the SNK ladies
SNK
got put inside a mansion and then were dressed in sexy outfits.
It was a dreadful plan, and it was executed.
And then they had to fight each other.
They had to fight each other wearing.
The best part is that like the implication that like their normal super revealing outfits aren't sexy enough. So it's like they gotta put them in just basically their underwear.
Put my in a cow bikini.
Yeah.
Yep, why not?
I don't know. Are any of those even related to their previous? I don't care. I don't even know why.
Mono thing.
Okay.
The cleavage. And she's got the fan, and she's really sexy. But
now she's more sexy because you can see more of her skin.
Yeah, get it? She's a cow. Get it?
Okay, oh, and you get new items to customize.
No, I'm not. This is not.
You get more items to customize your character too. Except none of them are actual clothes.
I'm pulling the injection on this whole trailer.
The fighting actually doesn't look too bad in this game. It actually looks pretty good.
Shadow of the Colossus story trailer.
All right.
This trailer told the whole story of Shadow of the Colossus,
where it was like a terrible plan has been executed.
Like this Colossi have all been knocked unconscious, and now they're wearing bikini.
You could customize your Colossi, but none of them will cover up what you want to see.
No, this is a very dramatic trailer for the very dramatic game.
Shadow of the Colossus, which is the first time it's coming out
ever
for PS4.
Oh,
for PS4.
Yeah, it a new game. It looks very, very pretty, and it shows the main character, whose name is Wander, taking up the princess lady, who does have a name, but I forget it. And he has a horse. His name is Aggro, and then some other guys in masks who also have names. They roll up, and I can't remember what they do, but and then you go and fight. He goes and fights a Colossus, and then the Colossus black smoke comes out and goes inside of him. He dies, and that's the end of the trailer, and that's the end of the game. So that's the whole game.
Yeah,
it's Shadow of the Colossus. The title of the game is Shadow of the Colossus, just the one Colossus.
Yeah.
Just fight the one.
Just the one, actually.
Just fight the one.
Just the one Colossus.
This looks cool because this game already came out.
This game looks very cool.
We already know it's a good game.
Yeah, and
it looks better.
Looks way better, so cool.
There you
go. Raging Justice.
It's
published by the Worms developer, publishing this.
17.
And
some studio that I've never heard of before.
It looks dumb.
This looks specifically like they were trying to make a 90s beat 'em up, and in that goal, it is very successful. Like even down to like we mentioned how it looked bad, but like they're going for that choppy frame, like almost rotoscoped like frame animation, like it doesn't have like the amount of frames doesn't look like it should have more, but it doesn't. It has like 3 to like.
Yeah, it definitely looks like to a weird degree, it almost looks like a clay fighter.
Yeah, it does, but not the same style. But like,
yeah,
where it's like you can't quite tell if it's 3D models or just like pictures that look like 3D models. Like,
yeah, or like it was photographed as 3D and then it was like just pasted in as a 2D sprite.
Yeah. And it looked like a beat 'em up,
but it just didn't excite.
Yeah, and much. Honestly, like just pure nostalgia isn't interesting if you're not going to like do something with it.
Speaking of pure nostalgia not being very interesting unless you're going to do something with it, Pokemon Go, the nature trailer. Now I saw
Stephen Fry starring.
This trailer was narrated by Stephen Fry, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds like it could actually be kind of an interesting, clever trailer." And it's certainly like a wondrous, feel-good trailer for this game that has been out forever and is clearly not any of those things.
Yep.
Yeah, this
all these places they're going, there's probably no Pokestops.
Yeah, this
trailer probably no Wi-Fi. There's probably no fucking connection. There's probably no LTE connection.
You can't use your phone underwater.
Yeah,
that's true.
Anyway,
I don't. This reminds me of the original Pokemon Go trailer, and therefore makes me mad because this is not how this game is, and I don't like it.
Do you remember like the original Pokemon Go trailer, which was that Google thing? Where it was like Google Map. It was like the April Fool's thing.
Oh, yeah.
Was
that even a trailer? That wasn't really a trailer.
It wasn't. It was like one of those Google.
It was a Google like team
April Fool's.
Yeah. All right.
That was interesting.
It's a neat trailer. It looks nice, but that's the persistence.
This isn't
a spooky game.
PSVR
roguelike.
First person roguelike.
Horror roguelike, please. Horror roguelike.
Horror roguelike. Where you got the teleport and movement, you got like a taser gun, you got like a hand that can block stuff. I don't know. It looked kind of cool. Like it looked a lot more polished than I expected. It looked a lot more polished than a lot of these PSVR games.
It's also weird though because I don't think it uses like motion controls. Watching it again, I think. I don't know. It just doesn't look like it.
It might all be look and controller.
It looks like it's all look and controller, which is interesting choice, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's how.
I mean, a lot of PSVR games have done that.
That's true.
Most people, I think, played the Resident Evil 7 in VR. With
that's true. And when people say it like that,
and I think that they assume that correctly that not everyone owns a PS Move.
That's true.
So play with the controller.
That's true.
Play with your controller. Looked interesting for what it was.
Yeah. Dragon's Crown Pro. So we've seen the Dragon's Crown before on Trailer Trash.
Yes.
This is Pro.
And this is a co-op trailer.
This is the co-op.
What was different about Pro? I couldn't tell you, but probably
this is because I didn't play the original.
There's probably something that's different.
This is the co-op trailer. I don't know. It showed lots of multiplayer. The most there was a cooking mini game at the end.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Play more of that.
Yeah, cooking mini game.
I don't know. This game when it came out on PSP or PS Vita initially looked really interesting to me. Again, it's another Vanillaware game. They made Odin Sphere and some other stuff. So I am looking forward to trying that out when it comes out later this year. If I'm not playing Monster Hunter, but I will be, so it doesn't matter. Guys, are you ready?
Other games don't matter.
Yeah, no other games matter this year, according to Ricardo.
Great, hilarious narration.
Oh boy!
Video game
this
trailers.
Was a bad one.
Are you ready for it?
This was a bad one.
Hey.
Battle Arena. So the thing is that no one watching this on Twitch right now is gonna get the effect because the actual game looks absolutely the art style looks nice. Like it seems like one of those really quick multiplayer games similar to like Powerful. Yeah, it looks very snappy. Like the second,
2D playing.
Yeah, the second there's a winner, it like immediately cuts the windscreen and like reloads the game. So like it's very clearly like got a lot of like
slow motion effects.
Yeah, there's going to be like a variety of modes and a variety of like different modifiers you can put on the thing.
The problem is the way that this game decided to market itself in here is with I was gonna say anti-comedy, but it's not anti-comedy. Anti-comedy is like
it reminds me.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
It reminds me of that
My Number 9 trailer.
My Number 9 trailer, yeah, that's it.
Yes, that's exactly what it
was. But not quite as bad, maybe. I don't know. It's tough.
It's like
tries to be edgy but fails at it, sort of thing, where it's like in your face.
It's like clearly I mean maybe not clearly, but it feels like, you know, a 60-year-old PR guy was like, no, you know, it's video games, so it's like kids, right? And you gotta yell at the kids and make a funny joke, and it's like that's how you keep their attention and make them
like you're so edgy
like that, you know. It's like someone that doesn't seem very versed in comedy for one, and well versed in like, hey, that's not how you get people interested in your game. Like,
yeah. And the other thing is, like I said, like if you're watching this trailer silent, like we are, like I am right now, like looking at our screen, it looks like actually kind of fun. Like it looks fun. Like all the content of their trailer is like totally fine. It's just it's except for the voiceover. That's like they had a good trailer here and they just messed it up. Moving on, guys. What do you guys like to do in your free time? Do you have any pursuits?
Only the murderous ones.
Murderous pursuits.
I was gonna say trivial ones.
Oh, well, you know what?
Well, you're kind of boring there, Ricardo.
You're gonna
get
murderous
ones.
Well, I'm gonna get the orange pie piece, and you're not. So
then you'll be sorry.
Then you'll be sorry.
Murderous Pursuits, is that Assassin's Creed 2 multiplayer mode that they had? Or
if you're Ethan,
the ship.
You will continually say the ship until somebody agrees with it.
It's like the ship, guys. It's exactly the same.
It's like
but the ship was like, I played the ship one time and everyone was just like jumping around, running around. It's very obvious which person was
yeah, but I think that might happen in this game too. I mean, obviously this is a very well thought out trailer, but this is the original
blend
pitch.
In with
That's what you're supposed to do with the ship, supposedly, but like, yeah, it does seem kind of like Assassin's Creed when it first came out as multiplayer did sort of have ship influences, sort of, I think.
Okay.
But the ship is not a good game. It's did not age well. It was one of those like early like social experiment type games.
Yeah, this one seems like it's got the mechanics much more thought out. Of like, you move around this boat, you change characters. You change like the way your character, you change like the NPC build. You walk around, you pick up weapons, and then you roll up on someone and stab them or shoot them or what have you. But then of course you are the one that's also being hunted by somebody else. So, it's a cool idea. It's executed well, but it's a cool idea.
Yeah, we'll see if this one's executed well. I do like the art style of this one. The art style is very cool.
The Assassin's Creed one was very, very cool. So much so that I feel like when later renditions stopped including it, people were like, "Wait, what happened?" Like,
yeah,
one of our friends was really good at
really into it. Yeah,
I was really into the Brotherhood one, which I think where it first appeared.
And then it stopped appearing, and everyone was upset momentarily, and then it had a very small dedicated fan base, but a small one, so it didn't.
Multiplayer is hard to put in, so they're just kind of like, what if we just make a giant single player game? How about that?
Yes.
And make it not work properly.
Let's do it over and over and over again.
And then we'll take a year off and make one that's pretty alright, I guess. But it's also
cool.
It's also weird though.
What?
This trailer for Cold Iron?
Yeah, I don't understand. It looked like
I still don't understand what this game is. This is the second time I watched a trailer for it.
So there's this gun. And
it's called Cold
Iron. It'll kill you.
It seemed like the
something.
gun is like cursed or haunted or evil or alive or the One Ring, or all of the above. This game. At first, I was like, "Oh, is it a Western?" And now it's giving me like almost like fantasy Cthulhu. Or like fantasy Western vibes off of it.
Yeah.
But then they should have built the actual gameplay, and the gameplay is all just like you gotta shoot things. Like it's a puzzle. They called it a puzzle shooter, which is like every level is different, but it still looked like you stand in one place and shoot things. Like it's a VR game, so you just stand in one place. You don't move.
Yeah, it's like a one-on-one duel with another duelist. It seems like, but each of them have like a unique thing about them which makes it like puzzly. So like there was like one lady who was like teleporting around in pillars of fire, and then like suddenly he shot one of them and she was in there. I mean,
a puzzle shooter game seems like something that's not only hard to pull off but hard to capture in like a trailer.
What makes it like
a puzzly
neat. And I think that's why it's going slightly heavy on the like aesthetic and like kind of weird storytelling. Like the music in this actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think it sold me though. I think it's one of those things where I have to see other people play it first. But I mean,
it seems like it could have a cool story. But like if it doesn't, I'm not sure it's there. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm with the gameplay.
I feel you.
All right, gentlemen, what wins this week's trailer trash?
SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. Does for me.
I mean, here's the thing. That trailer was actually, at least had a fun style going for it, despite it being, you know, kind of questionable sort of content. That was kind of weird.
Yes.
Yes. I'm looking at
the chat doesn't mean that you can.
That's not true.
That's impossible.
I'm gonna say murderous pursuits. That's what I'm gonna say.
Are we gonna have a 3-way tie?
No. I'll change my vote.
SNK.
No.
Waifus. Yeah.
Ethan loves anime.
I'm looking at all these other ones. They're not pulling. They're not drawing me.
It was executed. Yes.
No, I don't know. The master plan was executed. No, Ricardo's kind of tempting me after trip.
Listen, don't do it.
Fan service.
Oh no. You know what? Shadow Colossus.
All right. That one, I agree. That one was the winner of this week.
No!
Shadow Colossus wins. Woo!
Yes, I had all the power. Felt good.
That game already came out.
All right.
It was a good trailer.
That's a great trailer. It was
The
very good.
His name was Rosebud.
Wait. So anyway, that's it for this week's Pixel Podcast. If you have been watching on Twitch, thanks for watching. Check us out. All the archives of our episodes are up on there. Pixel_Legends, twitch.tv/Pixel_Legends. That is also the name of our Twitter account @Pixel_Legends. And our website is pixellegends.com. Be sure to follow us on all those places to, get all the info and the hot scoops about when we're streaming, who's streaming. Ricardo's been streaming Monster Hunter. Ethan's been streaming Monster Hunter. I'm sometimes playing Monster Hunter with them, so you'll hear me too. And in the meantime, stay tuned. Catch us next week for another episode of the Pixel Podcast.
Yeah.